everybody. Welcome to today's daily market update. I apologize. I know that I'm getting this video out a bit late, so you actually may be watching this on the next day. But today is this is for Wednesday, October the 11th, and we've actually moved into almost October the 12th, depending on where you're watching this from. So, looking here at our major markets, and for those of you that are new to this channel, new to this video, we do this every day. The idea is to look at the same 8 futures markets every day and keep our lines the same so that we can see the evolution of our positions as the market changes on a daily basis. So, there's days that we're going to find things that nothing happens, and there's days that we're going to get some really nice runners, and some days we're going to take stop outs. But we're going to look at the whole thing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, today in the ES, the S&P, we were, let's throw a party. We hit a brand new all-time high at 25.53 half. We've come down to 25.51 half, but I will tell you, I ain't trading any of this. We still have not come down to an area yet that I'm a willing buyer. Looking at this on an hourly chart, if I move this even down to, say, a 15-minute time period, there may be a little bit of opportunities down in here. I don't really like any of this really, form. I'm not shorting anything in this market. It doesn't make sense to be shorting at an all-time high. There's just too many reasons to stay long in this market right now. If you're in it, staying in it is probably the better way to go. If you're not in it, then you're going to want to buy on a decent pullback. I do like on the very small time frame, and I'm going to put this in a dashed line location. And I put the dashed lines to indicate slightly weaker levels. I do like this area here as a slightly as a slightly weaker level. So I'm gonna dash this. This could be an opportunity if we break down out of the little range that we're in. This could be an opportunity to get long. So just kind of keep this area in mind as a possibility. Let me switch this to a slightly dashed line. I don't have my mouse plugged in at the moment, so bear with me. All right, so we're going to put this in as a dashed line to show us that it's a slightly lower probability area, but an area where in the past we had an equilibrium of buying and selling. Price moved away, so this could act as an area of support when the market comes back down in here, where we see a little bit of a bounce kind of off of that zone and off of that range. In the Nasdaq, frankly, we still have this same area highlighted on the hourly chart. If I really strip this down into the 15, this looks a little bit like the area that I just highlighted in the S&P. As far as the time of day that it was formed and kind of where it was formed. It's a bit later in the day, but could still serve a pretty good purpose. Crude oil today, interestingly enough, on the hourly chart. Now we'd had this level yesterday and talked about this level, and we said that once we broke out above this area, that this could be a breakout potential, and then you could get long on the retest. So I don't know if anybody remembers us talking about that yesterday, but we talked about getting long on the retest to this crude oil level. So this was a really good opportunity today as it got down to 50.61 and rallied all the way up to 51.35. In that vicinity. So today was a really good opportunity on getting along at this level here on the retest into this. And when you think about the logic behind here, right, this is where we had that kind of equal number of buying and selling. Price came up, eliminated some buyers, and price continued to rally higher. So as price came back down, this area acted as a support piece, and we're able to bounce up off of that level. On the bigger time period chart, that doesn't show up really at all, right? It doesn't really show up at all. And we're seeing that oil basically now for the last week has some big moves down, some big moves up. So from intraday trading perspective, oil has been really, really worth it, and there's been some good movements. For longer term trading, which is what I really prefer to do, I've still got some alerts set with some levels that I believe in, and we've been hovering between those levels for a really long time. So if you're just looking for intraday trades, there are certainly things on the 15-minute chart. If you're looking for daily levels, now there's opportunities. Now, here's the level that we talked about yesterday in gold. So hopefully some of you were able to catch this level today as price retraced back into this area before then popping up out of this little level. I'd be looking to take profits or at least move my stop up to break even at the very least at this point, because we've just not had a lot of great follow through, and there's definitely some sell orders up in here. So for what it's worth, I think that we may have gotten most of our movement out of this little bounce off this level. So I'm actually going to remove... I'm not going to remove it. I'm going to leave these lines on, but I'm going to change them to dashed lines. And the reason I'm going to change them to dashed lines is because that, any of the orders that existed in that region, there's less of them now, right? There has to be less of them now because we've hit it and rallied up. It could still act as a support level for price when it comes back into here, for price to bounce up off of that spot. Going to our bond markets. So let's go to our bonds and our commodities, or excuse me, bonds and our currencies. So looking at our bonds and our currencies, this bond level here, so this is the one that we had talked about a number of days ago. Let me maximize this sell. We had talked about getting short on a confirmation entry. My guess is that if you're taking a little profit off of this, you're probably already out, or you've moved your stop to break even. I'm going to remove this line completely. This level is no longer something I'm going to be looking at going forward. I think we've hit it enough times for me to remove it. Now above there, I still have a level marked off, and once again, this is one of those levels that's been marked off for a while, but I still believe that there's still some validity to this level, and this is still an opportunity if price comes back into it. Below us, there's going to be some opportunity down in here, but really nothing for breakouts at the moment. The Aussie still holding up above this support line. This support line has not broken. We broke out above it, and it held again today. We had said today that you could get a retest off of this level. So, if you were able to catch that trade on the Aussie, certainly give me a comment. Let me know down below in the comments if you were able to catch that Aussie trade off of that support level. The euro. Now, the euro, this level I meant to remove yesterday. We talked about the weakness of this level. And that it may not hold, and certainly it has shown a lot of weakness. Now, let's talk about this zone here. Now, this level here we identified a couple of days ago, and we are coming into it. My problem is the way that we're coming into it. If I look at the way that we're coming into it, let me just move this to a daily time period here. I think we could still bounce off of it and come down, especially looking at this on the daily chart, because I think there's still room for this on the daily chart to continue to fall on the bigger picture scale. However, when I go back into that hourly, what I don't like is that we're going up, finding some fair price, rallying up, finding some fair price, rallying up. Every time we find that fair price area, what we're doing is that we're creating a new floor for price to fall to and bounce off of. And so since we're getting that kind of an arrival into here where there's a lot of floors just below where we would be getting short, tells me that this may not be the greatest of moves. So it's a little bit riskier of a play to get short now than it was even a couple of weeks ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a dashed line. So if you're more aggressive, you can take a confirmation entry. That's really what the dashed lines mean for me. And if you're wanting something that could be a little bit more concrete, it would be the gap fill area. And that gap fill area would be this area right here. I'm not in love. Like I said, I'm not in love with the way that we're approaching this area. I like this area up near the gap a bit better. And now, they both have good form, but I like this one a bit better simply because I don't like the arrival into here and the fact that we're stair-stepping our way up. Last but certainly not least, for our northern friends, is the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar is continuing to rally up. We're definitely seeing some weakness in the U.S. dollar, which is causing the Canadian dollar, the euro, all those ones to rally up. So, looking at it for tomorrow, I don't see a whole lot there in the Canadian. I see a lot coming up in the euro. We see some things in the Aussie. Hopefully you caught the Aussie position. The bond position still fairly far away. Going back here real quick. S&P still nothing, pretty far away from anything there. The Nasdaq has some spots, crude oil has some spots, and gold definitely was our entry for the day, and hopefully we're able to catch that gold move. So if you like the video, do me a favor, give me a like, subscribe to the channel. It really helps a lot if you would do that. Also, if you have any questions or anything that you want me to cover, make sure you leave me a comment in the boxes, and I will do my best to cover all that I can. So thanks so much, everybody. I hope you have a great day and enjoyed our session. And once again, sorry to jot out so late. Time gets away from me. Talk to you soon, everybody. See you.